Freak Nation, he's back in the Lucas Oil Studios. Dallas Glen, your Brainerd winner for the Lucas Oil Nationals, by the way. Pro Stock class. Couple of things before we get into actually racing. Tell the Freak Nation about that lid that you're wearing right now. That is just badass, Dallas.
Yeah, they gave us this kind of lumberjack hat here for winning. I think all the winners at Brainerd got one. I think it's pretty cool. It definitely keeps your ears warm. I like it. I'm probably going to be wearing it this winter.
Yeah, those heavy snowstorms you get there in Carolina, you might need it.
Yeah, all quarter inch of snow that we get.
Right. All
Closes
right.
everything.
The second question is, again, we know you run with KB Racing, KB Titan, and Greg Anderson's part of that. Why are you sitting in front of a Greg Anderson poster and not in front of a Dallas Glen poster?
I probably just because I haven't had one of these banners made. You know, we're just in the conference room right now, so I just bring the laptop in here and pop on here whenever I need to do a podcast or an interview or anything, and whatever I just happen to sit in front of. It's kind of what I sit in front of.
Well, listen, we know Greg Anderson. We've known him a long damn time. There's been a couple of times where I've told him to kiss my ass. Have you ever told him to kiss your ass and put a banner up there behind me with all my wins?
No, he's kind of one of those that signs my paycheck, so I haven't really said that to him. But no, if I really, I'm sure he wouldn't care if I went and got my own banner. Put it right over the top of his.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, who's
He's like, as long
right
as it's not in the way of his dyno room or the hone or the CNC machine, I don't think he'd care.
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah, I get that. So when do you guys take off for Indy? Brainerd was awesome. You've had an amazing season, but now it's Indy. It's the big go, and then it's the playoffs. I mean, I feel like the stress level for NHRA has just gone through the roof because now everything matters arguably even more.
Yeah, you know, Brainerd is 1.5 points, and these guys like to be a perfectionist and work on everything until the very last minute. So most likely I'm going to say we're going to leave sometime Wednesday and park on Thursday and set up and be ready to go on Friday morning. So I don't think we run until late Friday, but yeah, they like to I don't think there's ever been a Indy that I've showed up early for. So they like to wait till the last minute before they send us out.
Now, hold on real quick. Indy is 1.5 points. Is that correct?
Yes, Indy is 1.5 points.
Okay, gotcha. We're talking with Dallas Glen, NHRA Pro Stock points leader right now, coming off a win at the Lucas Oil Nationals in Brainerd. And I find that interesting. You say you don't think you've ever been early to Indy. That is essentially the NHRA's Super Bowl. I would feel like you would want to get there early, be prepared. What's this late show up thing all about?
Well, you know, Greg works on engines until pretty much the morning of almost. So it's all about trying to find that last horsepower or that last little thing, or try to find any little bit that you can. And, you know, we tend to go testing right before, or they're working on engines or trying something new, or they're always doing something always last minute. So we usually don't get our last couple engines until like right up to the point where we have to leave or we'll be late. So we usually never show up early.
Wow. So it's something that it's got to be shop based. It can't be once you get on site.
Yeah, no, you know, they dyno engines here.
Oh.
They have their machine shop, so they're always dynoing something or trying a new camshaft or a new manifold, or they're always doing something.
It used to be your teammate Greg Anderson and his other teammates would swap cars when they would tune them at the track. You do the same thing with him now?
Not quite. You know, when it went to fuel injection, stuff kind of changed a little bit. Obviously, when Greg left, that changed as well. Greg kind of does all the laptop tuning on his own and services his engine. I pull the clutch out of my own car and build the transmissions for it. So we kind of just work on our own cars right now. But, if there's anything that has to be done on Greg's car, I usually, like rear end wise or something, or a transmission. Sometimes if I have time, I'll go help build his transmission. I've done that before. And whenever there's an engine issue on my car, he might jump over there, help the engine guys fix the engine on mine too. So it's a team effort. We always make sure that we're giving each other the best chance of taking on the other teammates.
Dude, I've got a comment. That hat, it's like Elmer Fudd, and you're the baddest dude in pro stock racing right now. And you can't be out chasing that rascally rabbit Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Oh, you got to have fun too. You can't be. It's definitely a major part of pro stock racing is how focused you can be, and if you're all burned out all the time, not having fun, then it's definitely going to affect your performance.
Yeah, something must be working because you're leading the points, and you're leading. You almost got 2 events that you could sit out with and not have. You'd still be leading the points if you sat out almost 2 events. Good for you.
Yeah, well, it. I kind of had a big lead going into the countdown last year, and that's the thing with the countdown; it all resets. So we know how that ended up. I have a number 6 on my car this year, and I'd like to turn that into a number 1 for next year. So I'm definitely going to have to try to keep this momentum going through the countdown rather than have it stop at the countdown like I did last year. So I think last year, I don't know if I had 5 or 6 first round losses, and 4 of them were in the countdown. So I definitely cannot repeat that of last year. But it's tough, you look at this last race at Brainerd, the qualifying. Like number 1 was a 60, I think it was, and 61-2, and number 16 was a 65. I mean, it's just 4 or 5 hundredths, and you miss 2 shifts and stage a little bit wrong, and you go from second to being 14th. So it's a pretty brutal class.
But hold on, that you did that in the final in Brainerd, but then you just got lucky. I mean, you were not happy with basically your own leave on the tree. How can you prevent that from happening again? Because luck might not happen next time.
Oh, I've always said I'll take luck over skill any day. Luck will beat the most skilled person every day of the week. You've got to have luck to win one of these races. It doesn't matter how good you are if you don't have some luck on your side, because any racer out there can go up there and be, perfect to your 005 and beat you by 2,000. So if you don't have luck, then you really don't have anything out here. But no, definitely, I got kind of caught there in the final and had a bad light, and it happens. I had kind of accidentally. It was I've changed up some of my staging routine a little bit here in the last few races, and as a consequence, I've discovered that I keep flickering the bulb too much when I go onto the 2-step. So the pre-stage bulb flickers a couple times, and it makes the tree really long, and it kind of screws me up a little bit. So when I went into the final, I was like, okay, I don't do that again, because that just opens the door for mistakes. And then all of a sudden, it was a quick tree, and I wasn't expecting it, and that was my fault for not being ready when I went in. But it's just something I can learn from. Try to move on to the next one, and definitely try not to make that mistake again.
Dallas Glen, points leader in pro stock. You just had a paragraph of conversation there, and you mentioned points and fractions of seconds. Do you live your whole life with that kind of fractions of seconds that define everything you do?
Well, that's the thing about racing. That's one thing I love about pro stock is how close it is and how tight it is. That's why I came from big dollar bracket racing and stock eliminator racing, and that's part of the whole drag racing thing that I like. I'll go up and I'll go race off weekends and try to run for $5,000 or $10,000 here or something, bracket racing, and that's all that is. It's just fractions of a second, a few thousandths here or there, and that can mean the difference between winning a championship and coming in second. You can go back all the way to the first championship that KB Racing won the first time that I was here, back when Jason Line won it in, I think, 15 or 16. He was, it might have been the year before that. It was actually Erica's first win. She was 002 red, and I think she was like 009 or 007 red. And all he had to do, he could have been 100 green, and he would have won the championship. But instead, he was 7 thousandths of a second more red than she was. And that I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars changed hand based on a few thousandths of a second. Like that's how tight and how on the ball that you have to be in this class.
We were laughing about Jegs before the interview started. Jeggy is a main player in that high dollar bracket racing. You ever line up against him and take the money out of his pocket?
No, I've never lined up against Jaggy in a high dollar bracket race. I've been at races that we've both been competing at, but we didn't line up against each other. There's a lot of really, really tough racers out there that bracket race that follow that same crowd that is friends with, Jaggy and all those big guys like Scotty Richardson, who we lost last week or, a week and a half ago. So, there's a whole crowd, it doesn't really matter. You can travel all over the East Coast or all over the country and you'll see some of the same guys go to every single one of those races. It's kind of like a following a little bit like NHRA. The national event racing where if you can go to each race, it's a little bit like a traveling circus and you see the same people every week. So it's kind of the same as that, but it's definitely tough. And, whenever you have some momentum going, you definitely need to try to ride it out as long as you can.
Dallas Glen, Pro Stock points leader, going into the Big Go, Indianapolis, joining us here in the Freak Nation.
Hold on, I'm going to cut you off, Kenny. He just talked about momentum. It's great to have momentum, especially going into the playoffs. The momentum, we haven't, you talked about the points getting reset. I would imagine you might not be the biggest fan of that because your momentum then gets reset, arguably, going into the playoffs. So how can you mentally recalibrate yourself after having such a massive cushion and having everything tight again for just the final few races?
Last year I tried putting more pressure on myself and tried to make sure I didn't make any mistakes and, just try to, and I kind of just opened the door for mistakes. I think the first race I went like 001 red first round, which was definitely not the right thing to do. This year I kind of just want to try to tighten up some a little bit and, try not to, make my lights a little bit better, but just try to keep doing the same thing that I've been doing. It's been working all year. I don't really see any reason to try to change what I've been doing. I've been to, 7 or 8 finals this year. If I just continue to do that through the countdown and just keep doing what I've been doing, I just kind of need to let that speak for itself and trust that the process will work in the end.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Dallas, you just said a few $100,000 exchanged hands in milliseconds. They're professional athletes that make a crap ton of money. And this is a serious question. Given what happened last year, we all thought that you were going to run away with that championship. But something happened in your head. There are $1 million athletes that hire individuals to help them get the yips, to get that out of their head, to not get treed or to red light. Have you considered talking to someone, or have you talked to someone to make sure, or at least give you a better preparation going into the playoffs this year?
No, not really. I do have quite a bit of experience with, big money racing in final rounds and racing for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've gotten into late rounds in big races and just try to, stay focused and everything. Some of the one reason why I was trying so, extra hard last year is it seemed like right when the countdown started, my car kind of fell off a little bit. Everybody sped up. I kind of stayed the same or fell off a little bit. So it put extra pressure. I went from qualifying in the top 5 pretty much every single race to the first 3 races. I was 10th, 9th, and 10th in qualifying. And, if anyone says that doesn't put extra pressure on them, then they're lying. Because, when you go up there and you know that you've got a great car that is capable of running, top 1 or 2 every single session, then it does take some pressure off. And, you can go up there and you can just focus on, just doing the simple things, trying to cut a good light, hit the shifts. And when you know that you're down a little bit, you've got to try a little bit harder to get that little bit, maybe a teen light isn't going to win this one. I've got to be 00 on this one. So you just try a little bit harder, and that pressure, a little extra pressure. Sometimes, you just tiptoe over the line a little bit.
All right. The last question for you. Pomona, last round. It's you and somebody else over there running for the championship. Somehow the points end up that way. Who wins this race wins the championship. You want Greg Anderson next to you, Erica Enders, Stanfield, or speaking of, Jeg Coughlin Jr. Whose ass do you want to kick more in the finals?
Naturally, I would prefer it to be Greg, next to me, because then
really, you want to go home the next day to your boss after kicking his ass?
Well, at least then if I lose it, I say, my team still wins. I look at it that way at
Nice.
least. That if I definitely want to have the KB, 1, 2, 3 finish, or 1, 2, 3, 4, however many we can fit up there at the top. Where if I'm going to go up there and I'm definitely going to try to kick my boss's butt, because he's got 5 of these championships. I don't have any. I want one really bad. I want one of these posters right here that has my name on it. It says world champion on it. Those are hard to come by. He's got a couple of them, and I want to kick his butt. And at the same time, if he gets around me and he does his job just a little bit better than me, then at least it's still coming home to Mooresville, North Carolina, and he still get to keep it in the team.
I don't know, man. Stat man, you need to run some psychology tests on it real quick here.
I don't know. Need to run some gear grabbing tests. That's the main thing.
I mean, I would like to beat all those other people early, before the last race. I want them to be locked out of it. I want to just crush them right from the start.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Turn that hat into good luck, or take it off and put it somewhere.
I might set it right on top of the Wally. I think it'll look good.
Oh, now we're talking.
How do you like me now, Stat man?
Yeah.
See this championship.
Well, Dallas, it's great to get you back in here, buddy. Good luck to you at the big go. It's going to be a hell of a weekend, partner.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't really looked at the weather yet. To me, it's still a week away, so there's still a lot of stuff that I got to do. A lot of stuff. I don't think a single one of our cars is put together yet. They're still all basically bare chassis right now, which is pretty standard for the week before a race. But still lots to do. Looking forward to it, though. I've missed out against Greg in the final, where I went 002 red to him 2 years ago in the final round of Indy, and I would really like some redemption. It's one of the hardest races to win. It's the only kind of 4-day race where we get 5 qualifying runs, and it feels like it drags on forever. You get your 1 run Friday, your 2 Saturday, your 2 Sunday. You do all of that just so you can race on Monday. So it's a long, drawn out race, and it makes it a little bit extra tough. You've got to stay focused through all the days.
It's awesome.
Make Monday worth it.
Absolutely.
Dallas, thank you, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on here.
You got it. Tell Greg that we said we hope you kick his ass.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell him. Yeah. I guarantee he'll get a chuckle out of it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers. For more than 30 years, Lucas Oil Products has been solving some of the most difficult mechanical problems in the automotive, marine, and industrial industries. From our original Core 4 products, heavy-duty oil stabilizer, power steering, stop leak, transmission fix, and fuel treatment, we have now developed over 400 custom products to help solve some of the world's toughest mechanical issues. Go to lucasoil.com to see what we have in store for you. Lucas Oil, it works.